What's going on, faithful? Today I want to talk about what I believe is the biggest issue facing the 49ers offensively that has to be addressed this offseason. And to me, it ain't even close. Let's get it. Welcome to the Cayman's Island podcast, where we talk all things San Francisco 49ers. I'm your host, David Cayman. And in today's show, faithful, we'll be talking about the wide receiver position and what the Niners need to do and hopefully will do to address this in the offseason. When you talk about the Niners offense, and you can talk about offensive line depth, it's the worst kept secret in the world that with the right offering, we're going to let Mac Jones go to another team. So you could talk about having another backup for Brock Purdy, but the wide receiver room, guys, needs help fast, quick, and in a hurry. So let's break this thing down. Let's look at who's actually on the roster right now. Okay, you've got Ricky Pearsall, Juwan Jennings, Sky Moore, Demarcus Robinson, Jordan Watkins, Jacob Cowing, Malik Turner, Trent Taylor, forgot that guy's even on the team, and Kendrick Bourne. So that's what we're working with right now on paper. And then you look at free agency. Okay, so you got Juwan Jennings. This man is probably scheduled to make anywhere from $22 million to $24 million on the free agency market. I like JJ. I like the tenacity he brings. I love his blocking. He did do a couple of boneheaded things this year. And again, that's just a part of his personality. But I believe he stands on business for what the 49ers want to do offensively. Unfortunately, guys, at his age and that type of price tag, you've got to let that man walk. There are options out there for probably a little bit less money than that will bring some youth and probably some more speed to the team. So I like JJ, and I'm going to miss him. Thank you, Juwan, for all that you've done. Good luck in your next destination. Kendrick Bourne is another free agent. I like his personality, but personality doesn't equal catches. Got to let that man walk. Sky Moore, he had flashes there on special teams where he really did some good things, but really fell off toward the end of the year. I can't remember a play that he made at all against Seattle. Now, to his defense, I can't really remember a lot of plays that any 49er player had against Seattle, so not going to hold that against him, but he gone. Trent Taylor, again, he's a practice squad guy. I doubt he'll be back. And guys, when you break this thing down, that's a lot of names. That's a lot of holes and not enough answers at the wide receiver position. And I'm just going to say it. I think the 49ers should let all these guys walk and completely reset this room. I like Ricky Pearsall. I really do. When he has been on the field, he has shown flashes. He's fast. I like the way he runs his routes. I like the way he gets open. The problem is the man just cannot stay healthy. I don't know if it's that his body just cannot handle the NFL game. I'm not too sure. Of course, in his first season, man, him getting shot, that's not at all his fault whatsoever. And he's had an opportunity to recover from that. I believe and pray, hopefully, he's recovered mentally from that. And when he's been healthy and on the field, and when I say healthy, not forced in there because we're in the middle of a playoff game, 100% healthy, like at the start of the 2025 season, he showed the ability to be that guy. He really did. However, availability is the best ability, and we all know this. At this point, I don't think the 49ers front office can trust Ricky to be on the field. And if that's going to be the case, and he's really the only guy you're rolling with next year outside of guys like Jacob Cowing and Jordan Watkins, and we don't even know what we have there. Now, that's going to be partly on Kyle and that coaching staff because those guys haven't really gotten any type of opportunities. The bottom line, you can't contend with uncertainty at the wide receiver position. This has got to be addressed. Now, based on the end of the year presser that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan had, it sounded like they are all in on going big or going home this offseason. It sounds like they're willing to make a splash move. They're willing to jump up in the draft. And there's a lot of, and that's where all the rumors are going to come. When you get in a press conference and you allude to that, you're going to start hearing the Justin Jefferson rumors. Now, there's been speculation that the Niners have been trying to land Justin Jefferson for a few years here. The part that breaks my heart is that they could have drafted that man. You've got speculation about A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown appears to me the type of guy that needs a change of scenery. I think the Eagles would be up for A.J. Brown having a change of scenery at the right price. However, I just don't think financially that's going to work unless the Niners pick up a lot of that dead cap. I just don't see it. And please understand, A.J. Brown has been in this league a while. I think he would do very well in our system. I just don't think the money's going to work. And, you know, what happens the first time he's not getting 8 targets in a game? Is he going to go off? Is he going to start anything? Is it going to be negative to the locker room? I'm not sure. I like A.J. Brown. I think we would get him the ball enough and he would be fine in our system. It's just the financials I don't think is really going to work out. You look at a big splash like Justin Jefferson. I just don't think with as many holes as this team has, throwing around that type of high draft capital to land him. And why in the world would Minnesota let that man go? I'm pretty sure that's the only jersey they sell out of Minnesota. So I just don't see that happening. So what can we do from a trade situation on our end? We've got Mac Jones. That's an intriguing bargaining chip. That's something you can use creatively to maybe land a guy. You also hold the rights to Brandon Ayuk. Now, I think that the Niners would have to more than likely rework some sort of deal to be able to move him. And you think about with what's transpired in the offseason, who would take a chance on BA? I'm all about second chances. Brandon Ayuk, when he played for us, not the year he got hurt, but prior to that, he showed up, showed out, was a good guy on the field, man, and for the most part off the field. I think that Super Bowl, sometimes, man, losing like that in that heartbreaking fashion in overtime can do something to somebody. And he really felt like he didn't have enough opportunities to be a difference maker in that game. And maybe he still holds a grudge about that and just can never get over that. In any event, John Lynch has already said he's played his last snap for San Francisco, and I really do believe that. Maybe we can pair those two, work some magic, and we can use Brandon Ayuk's situation to give him a fair second chance and then get something in return for that. If there's anything like that on the table, you at least have to try and explore that. Okay, so who's actually out there? Let's talk about who's out here at wide receiver that the Niners could maybe realistically go and get. George Pickens. Will the Cowboys actually let that man hit the market? Will they franchise tag him? I'm not too sure. Romeo Doubs. You got Mike Evans. I don't see Mike leaving Tampa, but it's an option. You got Alec Pierce from the Colts. I really like Alec Pierce a lot. His speed is nice. I could see Kyle doing a lot with him. But just based on the way teams overpaid for speed at wide receiver last year, it would not shock me if he requested $30 million a year. That's going to be I really feel like it's going to be too rich for the Niners to go after in free agency for that type of price tag. Funny thing is, you got Deebo Samuel out there. Would Deebo come back for the right price? I personally feel like Deebo had a great run with us. Leave that alone. But if he wanted to come back on a super friendly deal, I could see that being something that the Niners would entertain. Again, I wouldn't recommend it. I feel that we've gotten better without forcing the ball to Deebo, and that relationship between Deebo and Kyle, I just feel like he would eat up touches that should really go to some younger guys so we can find out if they're about anything. We need to find out if Jordan Watkins can use that 4.4 speed on the field. We need to see if Jacob Cowing, the man didn't even play the whole season. We need to know what we have. We spent very big time draft capital on these guys, and we need to really get out here and see what's going on and what that's about. Rashid Shaheed. I know Rashid's going to be available. I don't even want to take a chance on that just because he wears a Seattle Seahawks jersey, just being honest there. There's a guy out there that a lot of people forget about. A lot of people forget about this particular player, and I really wonder if this is the direction the Niners would go. I could see this being a Kyle Shanahan move all day long. Tyreek Hill. I know that the Dolphins are going to be in the midst of a rebuild. They're about to have a new head coach. And I could see them parting ways with Tyreek Hill. I really don't know the finances around how that would work or how that would transpire. But I heard rumblings too that that's a guy that Kyle Shanahan would be interested in, and I can see it. Not to mention that the Niners love to give guys with injury histories a second chance. And for the most part, that just has not worked out. That's kind of why I could really see that being a 49ers move. And similar to BA, I think Tyreek has played his last snap with the Dolphins. So, yeah, I think the same thing around DJ Moore. I just don't see a trade and making the money work. That's another option out there. 2 wide receivers I find really intriguing. This would be if David Kamen had the ability to manage this team and lead this team and go after some guys. I really like Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins. The money would work. He's still young. I believe he's 27 years old. I feel that Kyle could do a lot with Jalen Waddle. I also like Brian Thomas Jr. Again, I believe the money would work. And having both of those guys on the field at the same time, plus what if Ricky Pearsall could play 10 games in the season with those 2 guys? I feel like that would really turn things around. Keon Coleman is another guy I like, but just not sure if we can make that money work to bring in a guy like Keon Coleman. Those 3 guys would really be who I would target in the offseason. I do feel like the 49ers are going to make some sort of move or big splash acquisition. I just don't feel it's going to be at wide receiver. Now let's talk the draft. At the top of the draft, you're not getting a Carnell Tate. You're not getting a Jordan Tyson. Not where the 49ers are picking. And again, if they move up, it's going to be a linebacker. It's going to be a pass rusher. It's not going to be a receiver. I just don't see it. Look, and I'm a Georgia guy through and through, but if you're going to try to stretch and take like Zachariah Branch at like number 27, you might as well just see what Jordan Watkins can do. There are too many holes for the Niners to reach. Now, I would personally love a Denzel Boston, big, physical, strong guy, 6'4". I'd love something like that. I'd love to get away from these smaller 5'10", 5'11" guys that are light in the behind, right? I'd love to get a big guy out there, like a Tet McMillan style build guy out there. That'd be great. But realistically, that guy's going to be gone way before the Niners draft. And if you're going to move up, you're going to move up for trenches, not at the wide receiver position. At least I hope the Niners wouldn't try to do that. So, yeah, what do I think the Niners will actually do? I think they are going to try. Pick up the phone maybe for a Jordan Addison, right? Hey, Minnesota, I know you really don't believe in McCarthy over there. We got Mac Jones. We hold the rights to a guy named Brandon Ayuk. I know he hasn't played in a year and a half. When healthy, he's shown potential. Could we possibly swing you guys a first-round pick, Mac Jones, BA, and pull your best player off of your team? They're not trading. They're not trading Jefferson. It's not happening. Addison is more than likely who they would be willing, just because of the off-field stuff, who they would be willing to trade. And I just don't see that happening. I feel that the Niners are in a space where they want character guys. They don't want anybody that could possibly bring a cancer to the locker room or any type of off-field type of issues. So I don't see them trading up for one. But if Minnesota is willing to entertain Justin Jefferson offers, sure, you have to make that call. But I don't think that they take the risk. I don't think with all the holes that the Niners truly have, I don't think they can afford to give away 2 first-round picks. And again, he's the best receiver I feel like he's top 3 receiver in the NFL for some time now. You have to pick up the phone and make the call if they're entertain it. But wide receiver, if we're going to make a huge splash and trade draft capital, I feel like it doesn't need to be there. If they do take a stretch, I could see a Jordan Addison for sure. Young, talented, still ascending guy. Maybe he can get things turned around with the off-field stuff. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's show. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Do you see another receiver out there? Do you see the Niners going all in to get a Justin Jefferson in a San Francisco 49er jersey? It would be nice in the moment. I would love it. But I would have buyer remorse the very next day, losing all that draft capital. Again, if you like the show today, guys, as always, please remember to like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. If you happen to be having a conversation with another faithful, show them the channel on your phone. It would definitely help us out. As always, guys, take care, be blessed, and go Niners.